Now let's create some sound effects. In this video, I'll show you how to create them using fonts. So I'm going to zoom in here on panel 4, which has a big crash as Ratmere hits the tree. And that's the only thing in the panel, so we can make this sound effect really big. So I'm going to go up here to Actions, Add Text. We will type out a big capital K-R-A-S-H. And what the heck, we'll add another H just for good measure. And if we double click it, we can change the font here to CCSmash, which we installed in the first episode of the series. And let's make the font size nice and big, probably bigger than we want it to be, because once we rasterize the type, we want to be able to shrink it down without losing any resolution, because if we enlarge up from small, we can get kind of those bitmap jaggy edges. And then the other thing would be to just stretch out the text block so that all of the type fits on one line. And that's those little dots on either side there. So now we got our big crash. Let's pick a brighter color that contrasts with the background there, but also I like to choose a color that's somewhere else on the page, just so that the whole page kind of ties in harmoniously. So we could use this gold, which we see kind of in little streaks there, maybe an orange, maybe a bright orange, like down there in panel 5, or up there on Mercy's, I guess that's her shirt. And that looks like it contrasts pretty well with the panel. You can also just click and hold anywhere on the page to actually sample colors from the document. But I think that orange is going to work pretty well, so let's stick with that. I'm going to go up here to my layers, and I've got my crash text layer here. I'm going to slide to the right and duplicate it. And now I'm going to make one of them invisible, and the other one I'm going to rasterize. And what that does is it converts the text object into pixels that are easier to manipulate. I'm going to click the selection tool here, and I've got it set to automatic and add. And I'm just going to click on the last H, grab it here. Oop, I have to click transform tool, and then I can grab it. And I'm just going to move it here and overlap the previous H. So we're trying to make the sound effect into a single unit here. So select both H's, got the actions tool, and now I can move the H's to overlap the S. And when you're overlapping on a sound effect, you want to overlap enough that it's not just a little tiny bit, but it's like it overlaps like you mean it, but not so much that it's going to be tough to read. Like now it's kind of unclear if that's an S or what that is. So I want to leave enough of the S in place that you can tell what it is, but also enough that it's going to look like a unit. So now I got SHH, can overlap the A, and I always like to also kind of alternate up and down, or maybe, 2 ups and a down, so you get that kind of lively bounce to it. So now we can go back down, overlap the leg of the R there, and now we got rash. And we could either overlap the top of the K or the bottom of the K. Either one, but I'll just go with up, just so it's kind of got that up and down bounce to it. And now I've got the whole crash selected. And I'm going to go here to click on the distort and just grab the corner and just start. You can just drag these corners around and get really neat kind of 3D dimensional effects. I can click in the center to move it around and just kind of grab the corners and just kind of pull it in so that it kind of looks like the sound effect's actually emanating straight out of the point of impact where he's hitting the tree there. And obviously, too much of this is too much. If you can't read it, or if you've got to stop and try to decipher it, then you've taken the reader out of the story and you're not doing your job. So a little bit of it to enhance the effect goes a long way and helps each sound effect look like it's individually drawn, even when you're using fonts. So there you go, we'll deselect it, and we got a nice lively crash. And if you get done with the sound effect, you decide that didn't turn out very well, because it's pixels, there's nothing you can really do to change it, but you can go back to your layers here. I could delete that layer and start over with my live text, duplicate it, rasterize it, and start the process over again.